Today's price action for GTII was very nice. I actually do like that we closed in the green. However, I don't like that we printed it in indecision doji on the 12 hour. So let's go ahead and find out what could be happening for GTII in the coming sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with the GTII technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this Hump Day Wednesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so we're looking at GTII on the 12-hour chart here. And like I mentioned, I really don't like that we actually printed this spinning top doji, which is usually, well, that tells us that there was a kind of a tie between the bears and the bulls. But the good thing is that we actually ended green on the day, right? Meaning that the previous day, we actually had a closure of, particular to the algorithm in trading view, right? The closure came out to be 136 opposed to the closure today coming out to 139. Okay, so I definitely like that. The good thing is too is that we closed the 12-hour candle above and inside the channel, which is really one of the things that we do need as a validator for a continuation to the way up. So what I wanted to talk to you about here today, other than the fact that this is just signaling some sideways, slightly bearish, slightly bullish price action coming in for the next day, is actually regarding the timing. Okay, so not particular to time fractals, but just the timing of the waves. So you can see wave one actually took it from the bottom pivot. I'm sorry, from the bottom. My apologies. From the bottom candle here to the next bottom candle, you can see that it took 35 days. Now that we were able to touch the bottom here, we can actually see that it took 39 days to complete that. And from the top of the candles, it took 37 days. So now we're starting to kind of catch to that average, right? So we're starting to see that there's a potential that it's within, within 30 to 40 days. So if we count the 38 days from this peak here, considering that this was 37, right? I can't actually get to 37 because it's a weekend in the way and it takes it to 35 days, 12 hours. So yeah, so it's looking like if it does play out, around the same manner, right? If it does play out the same manner, then we can actually see the next leg up by potentially March 13th. And that would be I would love to actually evaluate where price action stands in that particular time. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it would be the third test of the resistance, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that would be a very, very important time for us to evaluate what's happening within GTII to see what the potentials could be. The reason why I'm saying that is because the third test of the resistance usually signals for a capitulation and a further downside than the one that we're looking at, right? So if it does play, like I said, according to how we've been moving on the markets, then we can see a target of about 550 somewhere around March 10 to 13 or even 15th, right? So according to this timing. Now don't take that too literal though. The thing is that it's just this is high speculation. There's no real math behind this, right? It's just assuming that it would, since we are moving in this trend and the trend also has a trend in timing as well, then we can only assume that it would happen like that. But just remember that anything can happen in the markets, anything at all. Okay, so nothing's guaranteed whatsoever. All right, you guys, so let me just go ahead and this is ridiculous. I don't like looking at candle analysis in the 6 hour. I generally find a better hit rate on the 8 hour minimum, but preferably on the daily, right? So in this case, we can actually see that based on this 6 hour closure candle, we did create a little bit of a bearish engulfing with an inverted hammer, which can be considered as a shooting star, which is a little bearish, right? But it's still the 6 hours. So the lesser the time frame, the lesser the hit rate. But I want to move on to the last part of this analysis. I want to look at the RSI. Okay, so sideways consolidation actually on that 30-minute immediate short-term time frame. We're also getting a little bit of a consolidation, slightly bearish read here from the 4-hour time frame. the 8-hour time frame is actually giving us a little bit of bearish price action, but we still have that 14-day simple moving average represented by the pink line below us, serving as a point of support. So it's still good. So we do have a little bit of resistance coming up from the 14-day simple moving average on the daily, but please notice that this is an upside. It's not as strong as we would like it to be, of course, but it's still an upside pivot. The resistance is a little, it's a little weak right now. The reason why I'm saying that is, first of all, because the pivot of the RSI seems to be a little corrective, meaning that it would essentially correct to the upside, right? And another reason why it's weak is potentially because of the positioning within it, right? So it's actually within the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, which would essentially bring the RSI signal. It would potentially succeed it. It would succeed the 14-day simple. Okay, so what's telling us that it may actually succeed it is actually the buy daily. And please notice that the buy daily has an upside pivot, and it does have the RSI signal above us. But the distance between the RSI signal on a buy daily to that 14-day simple moving average is it's kind of long. It's kind of a long way, right? So if we were looking at price action based on what's happening here, it's a little bit of consolidation, meaning that we can actually see a little bit of an upside followed by coming back down and testing our current lows, probably 138 to about 134. Right, so if we were to continue on to the upside, and it's very, very slight, right? So very likely we can actually touch the area between about 148 to about 149, right? So for tomorrow's session, of course, anything can invalidate this. Bad news from the company, macroeconomic reports or anything like that. Even rumors can invalidate my thesis entirely, but it's showing to move a little slow right now, and it's showing that it could be just consolidating, which is normal. It is normal for us to actually consolidate and just kind of trade around this range here, so that we can validate the newly converted what was a resistance into now a support before a continuation onto the upside, right? So this is and the fact that we need to consolidate like this after reclaiming the inside of this channel. It would only validate even more so the 38-day average, right? So who knows? It's just a speculation, but I'm definitely not seeing any immediate danger, at least here in the analysis, right? But while we do remain, below the area of about $1.84, then the pressure still and the favor still kind of goes towards the bears. But nonetheless, this is the next step into that bullish trend. The next step was acquired today, and it was closed today, so that's a very good thing. There's a bullish statement from GTII. Okay, so the next things to do is just to make sure that we can validate this, preferably 2 days above the target of about 139 or 140. If we can close the next 2 days above 140, then that would be pretty good. I mean, 1 day would be enough, right? But it would be better for us to see maybe 2 or 3 days of confirmation above that target before a continuation onto the upside. Okay, you guys, so please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, you guys, I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. Please consider visiting the links in the description below, where you'll find the Twitter and also the ARCa Bulls Discord channel. Okay, you guys, so go ahead and join up and say hello to the fine people there. But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.